Hi, and welcome to Healing Highway for April 2026. This is episode number 4 of the 7 stories I wrote to healing. I'm Christopher, and I'm really glad you're here. And wherever you're listening from today, I'd like you to take a second and I want you to check in with yourself. Not the version of you that's answering emails or just trying to get through the day. I want you to check in with your quieter version, the one underneath all of that. You see, over the past few months, I've been hearing from many of you, people slowing down, people noticing things again, and people trying to challenge themselves in small, quiet ways. Now, one message stuck out with me this month. Someone wrote and said, I didn't realize how far away from myself I'd gotten until I stopped long enough to notice. Wow, that line stayed with me. You see, most of us don't fall apart all at once. We drift. We move faster. We carry more. We lose touch with ourselves 1 mile at a time. And sometimes it takes a road like this to help us find our way back. You see, Healing Highway exists because life has a way of pulling us out of ourselves. Simple. Responsibilities stack up. Expectations creep in. The pace increases without asking permission, and before long, we're functioning, we're producing, we're showing up, but we don't quite feel like ourselves anymore. Not to say that we're broken, not to say we're in crisis, we're just disconnected. I didn't build Healing Highway to fix that. I built Healing Highway to create a space for it. Space to notice, space to breathe, space to remember that sometimes what we need isn't a solution. It's distance from the noise long enough to hear something true again. And that's where this story comes from. This is episode number 4. It's entitled, Anywhere Between Chicago to L.A., One Lonely Highway Might Just Save Your Sanity. The first time I really drove Route 66, and I mean really drove it, was years ago. I wasn't looking for a postcard adventure. I wasn't trying to find myself at that time. I was just tired. Bone deep tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't touch. The kind that builds slowly like layers of dust. Missed meals, missed birthdays, unread mail, unspoken words. You know what I'm talking about. I didn't need a vacation. I needed a way back. So I filled up the tank, I packed a cooler with gas station sandwiches and bottled water, and I rolled east out of San Bernardino, California. No itinerary, no playlist, just a quiet hope that the road might know what to do with me. Now, at first, it felt like any other drive. Rush hour traffic, a scratchy radio station fading in and out, the usual tangle of thoughts buzzing behind my eyes. But not far past the city limits, things started to shift a little bit. Strip malls gave way to desert. The skyline disappeared behind me, and I let out a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding for months. Now, it wasn't some cinematic moment, no soundtrack swell, no epiphany hit, just a slow unwinding. The kind where your shoulders drop an inch, and then another, until you remember what it feels like not to be braced for impact all the time. So Route 66, California. Barstow, Daggett, Ludlow, Amboy under the towering neon beacon at Roy's. Then to Needles, across the river into Arizona. Topak, Oatman, Kingman, Seligman. The road settled into its own rhythm, and so did I. The urgency started to drain out of me. No one needed anything. Nothing was due. The road didn't care who I was and what I hadn't done. It just stretched out in front of me like it had nothing but time. And for once, neither did I. I started writing things down in a notebook and then a journal, and I'd stuff that into the glove box. No real deep thoughts at that time, just scraps. I remember a waitress calling me Hun and sliding a slice of pie across the counter like we'd known each other for years. A wooden cross that was nailed to a fence post in the New Mexico wind. The kind of silence between towns that makes you forget what noise even is. I wasn't trying to capture memories, I was trying to remember myself. By the time I hit Amarillo, I had no idea what day it was, and it didn't matter. Somewhere outside Cadillac Ranch, I laughed out loud at nothing at all and realized I hadn't done that in a very long time. It felt pretty ridiculous, and it felt pretty good. The land kept changing, and so did I. Texas was a blur. The sky got bigger, and the road got quieter, and the road got older. The desert speaks in low tones. It doesn't interrupt you, doesn't expect anything. It just sits there with you like an old friend who knows how to keep company without any small talk. Now, at a gas station near Elk City, I met a guy who told me he drives part of Route 66 every year on his birthday. Only place I can hear myself again, he said. I nodded. I knew exactly what he meant. And by the time I rolled into Oklahoma, I'd stopped trying to get somewhere. Out near Tulsa, I pulled off just to watch the sky turn that bruised orange it does so well. I didn't take a picture. Didn't even check what time it was. I didn't care. I just stood there. And for the first time in a very long while, I felt like I had come home. Now, not to a place, but to some long-lost version of myself that I thought had gone missing for good. And when I hit Joplin, Missouri, it didn't feel like a finish line. But it was. Time to call it done and make my way home. It felt like I had been scooped up, dusted off, and gently handed back to myself. Route 66 didn't heal me, but it gave me space to breathe again, to feel again, to remind me that I wasn't broken. I'd just been going too fast for too long. So if you're hanging on by a thread, if you've forgotten what it feels like to be okay in your own skin, I invite you to try the road. You don't need a plan, you don't need a reason, just a tank of gas, a little faith, and the willingness to listen to the silence that's been waiting for you. No matter where you go, whatever stretch of the mother road you choose to follow, anywhere between Chicago and L.A., the road's still there. And if you let it might just hand you back the parts of yourself you didn't know you lost. So after one of these stories, I always like to give you 3 things to carry with you. First, you don't always need a solution. Sometimes you need space. Not every season requires fixing. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is step back far enough to see what's actually going on inside of you. Space doesn't solve everything, but it gives clarity a place to show up. Second, disconnection happens quietly, and so does reconnection. You don't lose yourself all at once. It happens in small ways over time. Coming back works the same way. A conversation, a quiet drive, a moment where you're not performing. That's where reconnection begins. And third, you're not broken. You've just been moving too fast. There's a difference. One calls for repair, the other calls for rhythm. When you slow down long enough to, match your own pace again, something inside of you settles. Not perfectly, but honestly. None of that fixes everything, but it helps you find your footing again. So here's this month's Healing Highway Challenge. Sometime this week, I want you to create your own stretch of road. Now, you don't have to drive Route 66. You don't even have to leave town. Just give yourself 20 to 30 minutes with no destination that matters, no phone in your hand, no need to document it. All you need to do is drive, walk, sit, doesn't matter. The only goal is this: let your thoughts catch up with you. No solving, no planning, just space. Because sometimes when you're looking, and trust me, when you're looking for it, it's really not missing. It's just been waiting for you to slow down long enough to notice it again. Time now for the Chaplain's Corner. This is where I just share a quiet word for your soul. There's a season in life where nothing feels dramatically wrong, but something doesn't feel right either. You're showing up, you're doing what needs to be done, but underneath it all, there's a quiet sense that you've drifted from yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you've been living in a world that rewards speed more than awareness. And the truth is, you can only outrun yourself for so long. Eventually, something inside you asks to be heard again. Not loudly, not urgently, just honestly. That's what space gives you. No answers, not perfection. Just a chance to come back into alignment with who you are underneath everything you've been carrying. You don't need to rebuild your life this week. You don't need a dramatic reset. You just need a moment when you're not trying to be anywhere else. That's where you start to come home. Because Route 66 turns 100 in 2026, each episode I try to pause somewhere along the Mother Road. And this month, we're not stopping in just one place. We're stretching the whole line, Chicago to Los Angeles. That's about 2,400 miles of road that doesn't rush you. A highway that cuts through small towns, open desert, worn out signage, and places most people pass without thinking twice. That's kind of the point. Route 66 isn't about getting there faster. It's about what's happening when you don't. Somewhere between Illinois and California, between the neon signs and empty stretches, between diners and gas stations, something will shift, I promise. The road doesn't change you, it just gives you enough space to notice what's been there all along, and sometimes that's enough. Hey, if you have a question, a story, or something you'd like me to explore in a future episode, you can reach me through the website or email me directly at letstalk@healinghighwaypodcast.com. I read and respond to every message. And if this episode, met you where you are, I hope you'll subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Healing Highway drops the first Sunday of every month. And don't forget on the YouTube channel, Roadside Notes, a new episode every Thursday morning. And if you know someone who feels a little disconnected lately, invite them along. This road is better traveled together. Thanks for spending time with me. And remember this, you are not lost. You're just a few quiet miles away from yourself. Travel well, my friends. Have faith and good courage.